Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking about Bad Batch Season 3, Episode 7. That's right, getting further and further into this final season. We're going to talk about if this felt more like an episode of the week, like the traps it fell into in like Seasons 1 and Season 2, or if this continued the epic pace that we've had so far in Season 3. But before we do that, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new here, so we can approach 300 subscribers. And if you're not new here, or if you're new here, hit that like button as it helps us get notified in the YouTube algorithm. Now, let's dive into the Bad Batch. This episode kind of opens up with where we left off last week, more or less, with Hunter wanting to find out more about like the M count stuff and why the Empire wants Omega so bad. So he comes up with this plan that him and Wrecker are going to go talk to somebody, and while they're there, Omega is tasked with helping Crosshair with his Twitch because they don't think they can trust this person around Omega, and this person is none other than Ming-Na Wen's Fennec Shand, who I didn't really like the Boba Fett show, but I've come to really like the Fennec Shand character through her other appearances and that show as well. She was definitely a highlight from that show as well, but she continues to stand out as one of the cooler, newer Star Wars characters in this episode. And she's like, yeah, I can give you that information you're looking for about the M counts and why the Empire's after Omega, but in exchange, I need your help on a job. And that job is to track down this lizard. I think, what is the species? Gamorrean? Is that what the species is? Named Stlaurent. And they're like, we don't really want to help you, but I guess we will. And then she starts to piece together, like, hey, they must be really, wanting this information for some reason if they're willing to help me after all the stuff I've done to them in the past, including kidnapping Omega, who they're trying to save right now. So she starts trying to get some stuff out of them, and they're not really answering. They're being cagey as they go on this little mission with her, and they do end up finding Sylar and taking him out, and that leads to them being like, hey, all right, we helped you, now you owe us some information. And she's like, she did the typical bounty hunter thing, like, not so fast. I kind of bamboozled you a little bit. I said I would get you the information. I don't have that information, but I can get it. She's like, you just have to trust me, or we can fight right here. And they're like, we don't really want to get our asses kicked by Fennec Shand. So she's like, all right, so I will be in touch. So that sets us up for the next episode. And then we jump back to Crosshair and Omega, and she's like doing target practice with Crosshair, and he's just missing the target. He's almost getting there. He's a better sniper than most still, but he's just not like Crosshair used to be. And she's like, I really think this is in your mind, like the droid said earlier in the episode in a quick scene. And he's like, no, it's not in my mind. It must be what they did to me on Tantus. And she's like, yeah, but it affected you, emotionally. It affected you mentally more than you realize. So she, sits him down and has him, do some meditation that she learned from Genji on Kashyyyk. And I think it's funny that every scene Crosshair's in now, Badger is there too. He's become like the dad that didn't want the dog but is now best friends with the dog, and I find that kind of funny. And that's kind of where we leave Crosshair and Omega in this episode, is meditating with a great looking view. And then we jump back to Fennec Shand, and she's flying off in her ship. She's got her bounty, and she pages this person. And at first I thought she was just paging whoever she's working for, and maybe this is who she's working for, but I don't think that would make much sense. And at first I was like, ooh, is this where we see like our first tease of Cad Bane for the season? But I don't think we got a tease of Cad Bane. I think we got a tease of Asajj Ventress, because Fennec's like, yeah, they want to know more about these M counts and all this stuff, and it doesn't reveal who it is. You just hear like, and why would they hide it who it is if it was Cad Bane? And that makes me think that this is Asajj Ventress, and she's gonna like look into the M count thing, and then she's gonna learn all this stuff, and like, hey, they want the M count for Palpatine, and then maybe she betrays the Fennec in Bad Batch, and she's like, hey, if I can get this girl and get the Emperor the midichlorians he needs, maybe I can be his apprentice or something along those lines. I could totally see that going down. Or maybe she is truly good, because by the end of the Dark Disciple book, which I think takes place before this, even though she dies at the end of the book, I think they said they'll explain that away. She's kind of a good-ish guy, so maybe she does actually help, and she's like, yeah, I can help with that. I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm very intrigued about how this all ties in, how Dark Disciple fits into it, or if they're just full of shit and they're just going to ignore Dark Disciple. We'll have to wait and see. But nonetheless, I thought this was a really good episode of The Bad Batch. Not great. I think this was a really good mix of like mission of the week while progressing the overall story, because like the Omega and Crosshair thing, that was like the stuff I've been loving this season, like the really good character development, while the Wrecker and Hunter stuff was more of the mission of the week. But even the mission of the week they were on was to progress the story along. So it was a good mix of kind of like older Bad Batch and this new, like, let's go version of the Bad Batch. So that was kind of nice to see, but I hope next week we just get back to going full steam ahead and possibly see Asajj Ventress for the first time in a long time. Let me know what you guys thought of this week's episode of Star Wars The Bad Batch. Make sure you comment down below, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel as we keep approaching 300 subscribers. And make sure you go watch my other video I put out today, my review of the first 2 episodes of X-Men 97. I'm going to try to get some trailer reactions out too. Not sure if I'll be able to, though. We'll have to wait and see. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys right here next time.